Hey, and we're back. Before we move on to the second question, I would like to go to the website, to the guy on the couch, to read one of the responses from the website. Guy on the couch, what's one of the responses to should black people feel obligated to vote?
Okay, the response to question number 1, should black people feel obligated to vote, from Luther T. Clemens Jr. Luther says, I believe every American who is eligible to vote is obligated to do so and should want to vote to have their voice heard. In 1957, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., while on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, stressed the need for Americans, especially black folks, to be afforded the broad-based opportunity to vote like their white counterparts. He vocalized, quote, give us the ballot, unquote, and helped begin to clean the stain of racial disenfranchisement. A passage for blacks to vote had been, had to be fought for ever since the Emancipation Proclamation and the 15th Amendment over 140 years ago, which is cause enough for everyone to enhance their existence to get out and vote. Back to you.
Thank you, guy on the couch. Let's go into this next question, and then we'll come back to the website. Do you believe your vote really counts? And I think this is a really good question. I'm going to start with Greg on this one. Greg, do you believe your vote really counts?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
Because of the way everything is broke down. I know it's like certain states and everything. Well, how does it go? Like certain states that your vote means more, and they count those.
Yeah, as far as
And
the
other states,
electoral
Yeah.
colleges, or
Yeah.
something like that.
So I guess it depends on where you're at, and all those other things. And on top of that, I mean, we've seen before where with President Bush getting in twice, votes didn't seem to matter too much there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah and no. Your vote counts because it lets you kind of express who you'd like to be in charge, but ultimately, whoever the powers that be want to be in charge are going to be in charge.
Okay.
That's the way I feel about it.
Dwayne?
I mean, yes, it counts. It's just that it seems like it's diluted with the Electoral College, which for me, myself, I think we need to get rid of the Electoral College, make it on popular vote, because
Yeah.
it's technology has made it that, what's the need for an Electoral College? I mean, basically that was a check and balances for the powers that be to make sure the people didn't mess up, basically, is what it is. So my thing is that it needs to be gotten rid of. And I mean, that's what when you get caught up in traditions sometimes, and you stay tradition, it's not always good. Because, like I said, I think the Electoral College needs to be gotten away from. I think you should win on the popular vote. I mean, that becomes one man, one vote, not I vote, and then there's some guy becomes a delegate, and then he goes down there and he makes the determination who gets the nomination. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's what I mean.
it's not direct. If this is supposed to be a direct democracy, which is what it claims to be, one man, one vote. So if he gets 50 million votes and he gets 49,999,000, the guy with 50 million votes wins. Ain't no, he got this Electoral College, he got this delegate and this and that. Just, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, those things can be swung in so many different directions. That's why I said,
I mean,
it counts.
I mean, and
But
that's evident what
it doesn't count.
That's evident what Greg said about Bush's election against Al Gore. Al Gore got one. He got the most votes,
And still lost.
but still lost. I mean, a lot of people in this country aren't that smart. It's hard for them to understand that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, that just seems crazy.
Yeah. I don't know any other place where that happens. I mean, now I'm not talking about any other place like country. I'm just talking about in anything. American Idol, Hall of Fame votes. If you get the most votes,
Star Search.
you get the most votes. You're supposed to win, and it all should be balanced out that way. They should do it just like they do on American Idol. Just have them call in, have the debate. And there's a little number at the bottom. You call the number.
Man, that system seems to work pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It works pretty good. Well, what about the idea of people? What about people like fixing the votes? Or actually, before I get into that, what about the idea of the super PACs? And for people who don't know, the super PACs is basically like these corporations who now can like push forward. I guess they're seen as people, so they can push forward all these ads and stuff like that.
Well, I think the dangerous thing
things like that.
about super PACs is you don't get to know who they are, and they just dump loads and loads and loads of money, and so the very few rich, wealthy have power over the whole process.
Right.
And it's disheartening to the rest of the 99% of us who don't have that money, who are never going to see that money because quiet as kept. The same people who had all the money to begin with the plane started off, it's the same people that got the money now. So, like I said, that's what disheartens people about voting. I think that's why when people got behind Obama, is because they actually felt like the system was actually working for the regular guy a little bit.
But it's not.
But it's not. It was. I don't know anymore, man.
I'm still a politician. You gotta.
I mean, I totally understand that. You know what I mean?
I get it.
I get it. I get to that point of, but the fact that somebody can spend millions and millions of dollars, like this Allison guy that's keeping Newt Gingrich in the current Republican race. One man is keeping this guy in that race. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a Democrat, so they can all stand because I just laugh at them because of some of the things that they say. I mean, they seem so out of touch with just the regular person. And I mean,
yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Except for the.
I mean, but to be fair, all politicians are out of touch with the regular person, right? I mean, like, just to be fair about it.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, or at least they need to fake it better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, because as a person who I consider myself a sane American, I don't see how you can look at what they're saying and stomach half what they're saying. I mean,
it's tough to stomach.
I mean, they attack white women.
Yeah.
I mean, like, wow. You know what I'm saying? If they will attack white women, man, a black man in America don't have a hope, do we?
Wow. I guess we can go to the website actually, because I don't have much more to say on this than that. Guy on the couch, what do you have for us?
Question number 2, do you believe your vote really counts? Comment from Black Soap. I know that this is a touchy subject, especially since 2000, but I still believe that every vote makes a difference. Whether it's counted or not is a different story. We've all heard the stories of how they tell people they are ineligible to vote and they are eligible, or how they send you to the wrong place or machines break down and the lines are so long that it would take you all day to cast your vote. But this is exactly why it's so important to vote. This is how you know that your vote and my vote is truly worth something.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Thank you, guy on the couch. Now, how do you guys look at that comment as far as them? Basically, what that person is saying, that, you know, because they're going through so many steps to prevent people from voting, like this ID registration thing that's going on now. You know, basically for them to go through all these processes, he's saying that the vote really does count, whether they count it or not is one thing, but the idea of how important your vote is still out there. How do you feel about that, Greg?
Well, I agree. I mean, the idea of you voting and having a say definitely does amount to a whole lot. It should amount to a whole lot because of the way that they structure it. They've, in many ways, ever since blacks were allowed to vote, they've implemented things to keep blacks from voting. Like if you've been to jail, you can't vote. Now, I don't know if this is a coincidence or not, but they're throwing a lot of black people in jail. So,
yeah.
I would say that you know, every vote counts in that matter. You know what I'm saying? So, I agree with what you said.
Dwayne?
I mean, like I said, I think, you know, there's so many layers to that. When you look at just the pure democracy, yes. You know what I'm saying? You gotta vote, you know what I'm saying? But when you break down and you look at get into the, peel back the onion, you know what I'm saying? And you see how convoluted it is. It just, like I said, it gets disheartening. But I mean, you hope that you can change that through the system, you know what I'm saying? But you know, I think the system needs to be reworked in some ways. I think you have to. There becomes a certain point in time that if we stay traditionally to the democracy, and I'm not saying get rid of the Constitution or nothing like that, but I'm saying we have to look at things differently outside of the box, because guess what? We're where we're at because of a reason.